May 18th, 1927, a tragic day in Bath Township, the deadliest school massacre in U.S. history and the subject of a new documentary series. We do want to warn you, some of the material in this story is disturbing. "95 years ago, children who went to the Bath Consolidated School got ready for what they thought would be a normal day.
It was a big deal for them to be able to get that beautiful school, and it was a beautiful school building.
Andrew Kehoe served as a school trustee, school board treasurer, and a handyman.
He was the friendliest man to us kids that you ever saw.
At 8:30 that morning, he went into town to mail a package, and at 8:45, an explosion rocked the north wing of the school. There was a second explosion at Kehoe's farm.
There was some rubble on me and a desk on top of me, and I got that thrown off from me, and our classmates was all around, of course.
While the community rushed to rescue those at the school, Kehoe pulled up in his truck, which was full of shrapnel and another bomb. He fired his gun at it.
This is the world's first suicide car bombing. This is the worst school massacre in U.S. history.
The explosions led to the death of 38 children and 6 adults, including Kehoe and his wife Nellie. There are no longer any living survivors from that horrific day. The last of them, Irene Denham, died earlier this month at the age of 114. But Matt Martin has been working on a way to keep the story alive.
We started interviewing survivors of America's worst school massacre that occurred in Bath, Michigan.
The interviews and clips you've seen so far in this story are only a few scenes from Martin's docuseries, Forgotten: America's Worst School Massacre.
I had lived in the area for quite some time, never heard of the town, never heard of that incident, and was just, that blew my mind.
When Martin started working on the series in 2005, he never thought he'd still be working on it 17 years later.
It just became something completely different that I never could have imagined. No, I expected something that could be put together in a matter of months, maybe a couple years. But yeah, it's been a journey that has changed my perspective on so many things.
Martin says meeting the survivors and talking with the community changed his life.
The conversations that I had with these survivors that were in their 90s, Irene lived to be 114. She was top 10 oldest people in the world. Talking with these people forever changed the way that I looked at life and death.
Encouraging him even more to make sure this is remembered.
Then I realized this is about these children and these heroes of that day that should be remembered.
17 years ago, Martin had no idea how relevant his docuseries would be today.
This is not a fluke. This is something that should be part of the discussion along with these school shootings. The Bath School Massacre is by far the worst of all time, and it's relevant to the discussion. I mean, this is the world's first suicide car bombing as well. He used terrorist tactics that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are using all these years later.
While historians have offered different reasons as to why Kehoe blew up the school, from being upset about school taxes to just being a psychopath and wanting to destroy the community.
Kehoe's motive was to kill the children, thus kill the entire community. And I think he almost succeeded, but not quite.
It's the community pulling together to get through the tragic day that Martin hopes to highlight.
The fact that this town even was able to survive and exist and pull together tighter than ever is a story of perseverance and strength. Martin says they're still in the process of wrapping up shooting and building a scale rendering of the school. He says once it's complete, they'll begin talking to streaming services like Netflix and Hulu to decide where it will be released.